Hey folks, here I am. This is my first obligatory video post from within my car. I was actually hoping to do it outside the car and set the camera up on the car and kind of shoot it against this beautiful backdrop of the mountains across the plains here. But I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's literally shaking the car. So you wouldn't be able to hear a word I said if I did it out there. So here we go. And it's interesting, today was a cool day, and I had a really interesting conversation with a student this morning. We were kind of talking about what I've been posting about for the last couple of days, with the magician and the warrior archetype. I've just been really feeling a kind of, I've been very aware of the different archetypes active within me, and especially, this kind of warrior mode that I go into, and kind of, like I was creating the content for this upcoming week of the course and realizing, I just, even with having talked about this now for the last couple of days, that pattern of, I gotta get this done, I gotta drive through it, I gotta just do one more take, just do one more version of it, that really kind of driven energy really just emerges often. It really is kind of like my natural state, even when it's not a very good strategy, even when it is actually really kind of an oppressive force. I still kind of allow it to kind of take me over. And so I've just been clocking that and sitting with that and allowing myself to feel that. And, I'm not really judging it and not making a problem out of it, but I am just being aware of it and really kind of registering also this idea of opening into my playfulness it really feels like it's important. It feels like a desire. I've been talking to my students about, I had a student this morning on a piano pod, and I was kind of coaxing her towards basically what it amounts to is taking her own ideas seriously. And it was really beautiful because the other student on the piano pod is actually the person who said that. She's the one who pointed out, for me, it's difficult to take my own ideas seriously. I feel like because they're mine, maybe they don't have any value. And there's all these ways in which our inspiration and our notion of what our ideas even are gets completely colored by our own kind of psychological patterns. And so I was kind of talking to her about that, and then just realizing, what's coming through me and what's trying to come through me, and what I'm kind of what I really give time and space to, and what I tend to overlook or ignore because it doesn't fit the picture of what I think, my good ideas are or whatever. And I've been, but so then the first conversation that I mentioned a moment ago with another student was really kind of helped me open up into this notion. I remembered playing all the different cabaret gigs I've done. For some reason, I've done all these cabarets in my life. Why cabaret? Why that form? In some ways, it's an obvious form for a piano player, actor type person, but in some ways, it's not at all. In some ways, it's not. It's a very unique form, and it's a very almost underground thing. Cabarets are kind of like their own weird limbo world of performance, and I think what I love about them, what sort of came to me is, I think it's because my magician loves that form. That form is silly. It can be really poignant and meaningful, but at the same time, totally throwaway and fluff and light. It can be profound and deep, and also hilarious and comedic. So there's a texture to it, and a kind of immediacy. There's a lot of breaking the fourth wall in cabaret. You're kind of there's a performer, but the performer and the audience are kind of all sharing one experience. And I just remember doing this cabaret in London, the Cosmic Jazz Cabaret, the very kind of first one that I did, and I would wear a sparkly fedora and a tuxedo, and like goof off playing piano and talking about philosophy and like just letting ideas. I mean, it was ended up being a show that was pretty written out. It wasn't like we improvised too much of it, but it was all just like what was coming out of me and my creative partner at the time. And so getting back in touch with that and remembering that has been really fun for me today, and just I think in the last couple of weeks, that image has come back, and I'm like, why, like, where's that? Let me take that seriously. Take that impulse seriously. If there's something coming through there, I have in my daily ritual of like things that my like life vision board thing that I read every day. I have one of the elements, one of the items is a TV show. And when I imagine the TV show, it's like a cabaret TV show. It's like a TV show that is a cabaret, which kind of takes us back to like the sort of vaudeville inspired shows of like the 60s. And I have some frames of reference for what it is, but what if I took that seriously? Like what if I actually started writing that, creating that? All of a sudden, I feel like my student, like, oh, I don't know, my ideas, are they really? Is this really a good idea? Is this really an idea at all? But I know it is. And it's really interesting to be watching students have, I mean, this woman was just, it's like, she's like writing a Regina Spektor song or something. It's a very clear voice coming through. But I can also tell that she can't really hear the voice yet. She's not hearing her own voice. She thinks that it's random because she doesn't have that much training. She hasn't really been playing piano that long. She doesn't really know what she's doing. It's kind of happening out of her subconscious more than her conscious. And so she's kind of like, she doesn't even know how to acknowledge that it's potentially amazing. And that's kind of what we're working on. And I think she was definitely receiving that today. But for me to be in that position of saying this basically to myself is also interesting. So anyway, that's where I am today, people. My first car post. I love you all. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again very soon.